Can you drive me home without asking why? These 7 words from a drunken CEO to a desperate father began a journey neither could have imagined. Alex Parker counted the wrinkled bills in his wallet for the third time that evening, his weathered hands moving with the practiced precision of someone who once sutured wounds instead of mixing drinks. The bills still added up to the same disappointing sum, nowhere near enough for his daughter Sophie's surgery. The neon lights of the upscale bar where he worked nights cast shadows across his face, highlighting the premature gray at his temples and the worry lines etched deeper with each passing day. His phone vibrated against the bar counter. Sophie's school. His heart raced as he answered, stepping away from the noise. Dad? Sophie's voice came through, sweet but slightly disjointed, the way it always did now through her failing hearing aid. I couldn't hear the recess bell today. Miss Collins had to tap my shoulder. But don't worry, I'm okay. Alex closed his eyes, leaning against the wall. Her brave little voice cut deeper than any scalpel ever had. I'll pick you up soon, sweetie. How was your art project? Amazing, I drew our family. Miss Collins says I have talent. Family. Just the two of them since Sarah's accident 2 years ago. The accident where he, as the attending physician, had made the most impossible choice of his life. One that left his daughter without a mother and himself without the career he'd spent 14 years building. Dad, are you still there? Always, Soph, always. He cleared his throat. I love you, kiddo. Love you too. Gotta go. Art class. The call ended, but Alex stood frozen, phone still pressed to his ear, as if it might somehow bring his daughter closer. 2 weeks. That's all the time they had left before Sophie's otosclerosis progressed beyond surgical intervention. 2 weeks to find $5,000 that insurance wouldn't cover. Parker, table 6 needs another round. Mike Rodriguez's voice broke through his thoughts. Mike, his fellow bartender and only real friend these days, nodded toward the other end of the bar. A group of suits, corporate types celebrating some invisible victory with expensive scotch and louder by-the-minute conversation. I've got it, Alex replied, tucking his phone away and returning to the reality of his night job. One of two he worked to make ends meet after leaving medicine. At the far end of the bar, separate from the celebrating group, sat a woman who didn't belong. Not because she couldn't afford to be there, her tailored charcoal suit and subtle diamond earrings suggested otherwise, but because of the solitary intensity with which she stared into her glass of bourbon. In a place where people came to connect, she seemed determined to disconnect. Olivia Reed, though Alex didn't know her name yet, swirled the amber liquid in her glass, watching it catch the light. 30 years old and already CEO of Reed Technologies, she had built her empire from nothing, climbing from foster home to Fortune 500 through sheer determination and brilliant strategy. Tonight, that carefully constructed world was crumbling around her. On her phone, she swiped through the photographs again, her CFO, Nathan Chen, sitting across from James Wilson, CEO of Apex Technologies, their biggest competitor. The images showed them exchanging documents in a restaurant they thought was safe from prying eyes. Nathan, the only person she had ever truly trusted in the corporate world, was selling her out. She downed her drink and signaled for another. Alex placed a fresh bourbon before her. Rough day? Olivia looked up, really seeing him for the first time. A bartender with eyes too observant, shoulders too square, and hands too precise for someone who simply mixed drinks. Rough life, she answered, then added, no offense, but I'm not looking for conversation. Alex nodded, respecting the boundary. Fair enough. As he turned away, Olivia surprised herself by speaking again. Have you ever trusted someone completely, only to discover they were planning your destruction the entire time? Alex paused, then responded with unexpected honesty. Yes, but sometimes the person I trusted most and who betrayed me worst was myself. Something in his tone, not condescending, not pitying, just matter of fact, made Olivia look at him more carefully. She hadn't expected wisdom from a bartender, which made her realize how many assumptions she made about people based on their jobs. 3 hours and several drinks later, the bar was closing. Olivia stood unsteadily, fishing her keys from her purse. Alex watched her from behind the bar as he wiped down glasses. I can call you a car. I'm perfectly capable of driving myself, she said sharply, though her slight sway suggested otherwise. I'm sure you're capable of many things, Alex replied calmly. Driving tonight isn't one of them. Olivia stared at him, unused to being challenged. Fine, you drive then. I assume you know how to do that without asking questions. Alex signaled to Mike, who nodded understanding. Another night of lost tips, but something about this woman's particular brand of controlled desperation felt familiar. He'd seen it in the mirror too many times. Her car was exactly what he'd expected. A sleek black Tesla, all curves and silent power. She gave him the address without looking at him, then curled against the passenger window. The city lights blurred past as Alex navigated the empty streets. Rain had begun to fall, painting everything in reflective sheen. Do you ever wish you could just disappear? The question came so quietly he almost missed it, her breath fogging the window as she spoke. Alex considered his answer carefully while navigating a turn. Disappearing is easy. It's staying that takes courage. She turned to look at him then, really look at him, as if seeing past the uniform and the careful professional distance he maintained. You sound like someone who's tried both. We all have our stories, Ms. Reed, Olivia Reed. She laughed, but it was bitter as burnt coffee. Of Reed Technologies. That's all anyone ever sees anyway. They drove in silence after that, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was the kind of quiet that exists between people who understand that sometimes words are too small for what needs to be said. When they reached her building, a converted warehouse in the Arts District that probably cost more than most people's lifetime earnings, she hesitated before getting out. Thank you, she said, and meant it in ways that had nothing to do with the ride. Alex watched her walk to her door, waiting until she was safely inside before driving away. He thought that would be the end of it. Just another strange encounter in a city full of them. But the next morning, his phone rang with a number he didn't recognize. Mr. Parker, this is Megan Walsh, Ms. Reed's assistant. Ms. Reed would like to meet with you regarding a business proposition. Would 2 o'clock this afternoon be convenient? Before Alex could respond, Mike walked into the apartment they shared when schedules aligned. Mike had taken the couch after his last deployment, claiming his military habits made him prefer harder surfaces anyway. In reality, Alex knew his friend was helping him make ends meet while maintaining his pride. Who was that? Mike asked, setting down grocery bags. Apparently, the woman from last night wants to meet. Something about a business proposition. Mike raised an eyebrow. Business proposition? That's what they're calling it these days? It's not like that, Alex said, though he wasn't entirely sure what it was like. I just drove her home. In her car? Man, you don't even know this woman. She could be anyone. She's the CEO of Reed Technologies. Mike's eyes widened. Reed Tech? The AI company? Parker, you drove Olivia Reed home? That woman is worth millions. What the hell does she want with you? I guess I'll find out at 2. After dropping Sophie at school, Alex changed into his one decent suit, the one he'd worn to Sarah's funeral and hadn't touched since. It hung looser now, a physical reminder of everything he'd lost. Reed Technologies occupied the top 10 floors of a gleaming downtown skyscraper. The lobby alone spoke of money and power, all sleek marble and steel, with a 3-story waterfall behind the reception desk. Alex Parker for Olivia Reed, he told the receptionist, feeling acutely out of place. The woman barely looked up. 65th floor. They're expecting you. The elevator rose with unsettling smoothness, each floor bringing him further from the world he'd inhabited since leaving medicine. When the doors opened, he stepped into a space that seemed designed to intimidate, all glass and sky and invisible wealth. Megan Walsh, a poised young woman with efficient movements, led him through the floor. Ms. Reed rarely brings outsiders into headquarters, she remarked. You must have made quite an impression. Before Alex could respond, they reached a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows and a door bearing the simple nameplate, O. Reed, CEO. The office was everything Alex had expected and nothing like it at the same time. Yes, there was the floor-to-ceiling glass, the minimalist furniture that probably cost more than his monthly rent, the view that turned the city into a painting. But there were also unexpected touches. A child's drawing framed beside million-dollar contracts, a coffee mug with a chip in the handle sitting beside pristine china, a throw blanket draped over a leather chair like someone actually lived here instead of just worked. Olivia stood by the window when he entered, her back to him, posture perfect as a dancer's. Today she wore gray, severe and structured, as if the clothes could provide the control the alcohol had stripped away. "I need a driver," she said without preamble, still facing the window. "7 days, 12 hours a day. I'll pay $5,000. Alex calculated quickly. That would cover Sophie's surgery costs exactly. But something about the offer felt off. Too generous for simple driving. "Why me, bae?" She turned then, and he saw that the vulnerability from last night had been carefully packed away, replaced with something harder but more fragile, like ice over deep water. "Because you didn't take advantage when you could have, because you didn't ask questions when I needed silence, and because I need someone I can trust for what comes next." Which is? Finding out who else in my company is selling me out to competitors. Alex understood then. She didn't just need a driver. She needed a witness, someone outside her circle who could observe without being observed, someone invisible enough to be forgotten but smart enough to remember. "I have conditions," he said. Her eyebrow raised slightly, the only sign of surprise she allowed herself. "Such as?" "I need flexibility for one phone call a day to my daughter, and I can't work past 7 on Thursday." "That's non-negotiable." Something flickered in her expression, gone before he could identify it. "Done. You start tomorrow, 6 a.m. sharp." As Alex left the gleaming tower of Reed Technologies, he called Mike, who answered on the first ring. "How'd it go with Miss Corporate America?" "She offered me a job, 7 days as her driver, $5,000. Mike whistled low. "That's suspiciously generous. What's the catch?" "She thinks someone in her company is betraying her. She wants an outside observer." "And you said yes, man, rich people problems are dangerous. Remember what happened last time you got involved with things above your pay grade?" Alex winced. Mike was the only one who knew the full story of Sarah's accident, how Alex had chosen to save another patient, first based on triage protocols, not knowing his wife was the second ambulance arrival. "This is different. It's just driving and observing. Besides, it's exactly what Sophie needs for her surgery. And it has nothing to do with the fact that this woman is probably gorgeous, powerful, and damaged in all the ways that make you want to fix people. She's my employer for a week, Mike. Nothing more." "Whatever you say, Doc, just be careful. People like that live in a different world. They can step out of our lives without a second thought, but we can't do the same." That night, Alex sat on the edge of Sophie's bed, their nightly ritual of reading stories together made more precious by her declining hearing. She cuddled closer, her strawberry blonde hair, so like her mother's, tickling his chin as he read, making sure she could see his lips when her hearing aids weren't enough. "Daddy," she interrupted, looking up at him with serious blue eyes. "Ms. Collins taught me some sign language today. Want to see?" She showed him the signs for "I love you" and "family," her small hands moving with careful precision. "That's amazing, Soph. When did you learn all this?" "After I couldn't hear the bell. Ms. Collins says it's good to be prepared." She demonstrated another sign. "This means friend. Do you have friends, Daddy?" The innocent question hit harder than she could know. "I have Mike from the bar, and I have you, my best friend in the whole world." "But that's not enough friends. Everyone needs more friends." She frowned thoughtfully. "Maybe you'll make a new friend at your new job tomorrow." "Maybe," Alex agreed, knowing the likelihood of friendship with someone like Olivia Reed was about as probable as winning the lottery. "Time for sleep now, kiddo." "Will you still be able to take me to school tomorrow?" "Absolutely. My new job starts after drop-off." Satisfied, Sophie snuggled down. "Night, Daddy. I love you even if I can't hear you say it someday." Her words hung in the darkness long after she'd fallen asleep, a reminder of everything at stake. The first 3 days established a rhythm. Alex would arrive to find Olivia already waiting, dressed in armor of expensive fabric and careful makeup. She conducted business from the back seat, taking calls that moved millions while he navigated traffic. She treated him like furniture, present but unnoticed, necessary but unacknowledged. But small things began to crack that professional distance. The way she automatically said please when giving him addresses, even when distracted by calls. How she noticed when he adjusted the air conditioning and quietly mentioned she was comfortable. No need to change it for her. The morning she handed him coffee without being asked, prepared exactly how he liked it, though he'd never told her his preferences. On the fourth date, everything shifted. They were parked outside a law firm, waiting while she finished a call about patent disputes. Sophie called just as Olivia ended her conversation. Alex answered quickly, intending to keep it brief, but his daughter's voice filled the car through the Bluetooth before he could switch to the earpiece. Daddy, my ear hurts again. Ms. Patterson says I can lie down in the nurse's office, but I want you. Alex's hands tightened on the steering wheel, knuckles white with the effort of keeping his voice steady. I'm working right now, sweetie, but I'll come get you as soon as I can. Is it the same pain as yesterday? Worse, and the sounds are getting more fuzzy. Sophie's voice quivered slightly. Daddy, what if the operation doesn't work? What if I can't hear anything ever again? Hey, we talked about this. Dr. Morrison is the best there is. You're going to be fine. Promise? I promise, Sophie. Now let Mrs. Patterson give you some medicine for the pain, and I'll be there as soon as Ms. Reed is done with her meetings. Is Ms. Reed pretty? Alex caught Olivia's eyes in the rearview mirror, saw amusement there mixed with something else. She's my boss, Soph. That's not what I asked. I'll see you soon, sweetie. I love you. Love you too, Daddy, even if I can't hear you say it soon. The call ended, leaving silence that felt heavier than lead. Alex stared straight ahead, waiting for Olivia to say something about personal calls during work hours, about maintaining professional boundaries. Instead, she asked quietly, how long has she been losing her hearing? 6 months, started gradually, now accelerating. She has otosclerosis, abnormal bone growth in the middle ear. It's treatable with surgery, but the window is closing. 2 more weeks, and the damage might be irreversible. And her mother? Died 2 years ago, car accident. He didn't add the rest, that he'd been the attending physician in the ER that night, that he'd had to choose between 2 critical patients, that choosing the other had meant watching his wife die while he saved a stranger. The medical board had cleared him of any wrongdoing, but Alex had never cleared himself. Olivia was quiet for a long moment. Then, surprising them both, she said, I grew up in foster homes, 7 different ones before I aged out. You learn not to get attached to voices because they always leave eventually. She paused, seeming almost embarrassed by her candor, then continued more softly. But I remember every single one, every bedtime story, every lullaby, every good morning and how was school. Your daughter will remember your voice, Mr. Parker, no matter what happens. It was the most personal thing she'd said to him, offered like a gift he hadn't asked for but desperately needed. The moment broke when her phone rang, the board calling about an emergency meeting. But something had shifted between them, an understanding that went beyond employer and employee. That evening, Olivia had a dinner meeting with potential investors at an exclusive restaurant downtown. As Alex held the car door for her, she paused. Your daughter's school ends at 3, correct? Alex nodded, surprised she'd noticed the timing of his daily calls. Take an hour, go see her. We can resume at 4. That's not necessary, Ms. Reed. It's Olivia, and it is necessary. Go see your daughter. It wasn't charity or pity in her voice, just simple understanding. Alex found himself accepting with a nod. When he picked Sophie up from school, her face lit up with surprise. Daddy, what are you doing here? I thought you had your fancy job today. I got a break. Thought I'd surprise my favorite girl. They spent the hour at a nearby park, Sophie showing him more sign language and telling him about her day. As she played on the swings, Alex caught himself watching the clock, aware of Olivia waiting. You have to go back to work, don't you? Sophie asked, observing him with a perception beyond her years. Soon, yes, but I'm glad I got to see you. Me too. She swung higher. Is your boss nice? Alex considered the question. She's complicated, but yes, I think she's nice in her own way. Mom always said complicated people are the most interesting ones. Sarah had said that, especially about her patients. It was one of the things he loved about her, her ability to see beyond surfaces. When he returned to the restaurant, Olivia was waiting outside, scrolling through her phone. You're early, she said without looking up. So are you. Your meeting couldn't have ended already. It didn't. A hint of a smile touched her lips. I decided my time was better spent elsewhere. How's Sophie? Better now, thank you for that. Olivia slipped her phone into her pocket. I've been thinking about what you said, about betrayal. Oh? You were right. It isn't about me. It's about Nathan and his choices. Her voice hardened. But that doesn't mean I'm going to let him destroy everything I've built. As they drove back to Reed Technologies, Olivia outlined what she knew so far. Nathan had been meeting with Apex for months. They were planning to launch a competing product using Reed's proprietary technology. The board meeting in 3 days would be his move to force her out, claiming falling profits and mismanagement. What exactly do you need from me? Alex asked as they pulled into the underground parking garage. Your eyes, your outsider perspective. People forget drivers are there. They'll say things in front of you they wouldn't say in front of me. As if to prove her point, as they exited the elevator on the executive floor, Nathan Chen himself walked past, nodding to Olivia while completely ignoring Alex. Olivia, good to see you back. The Tokyo investors just called. They're concerned about the Q3 projections. Nathan's smile never reached his eyes. Nothing I can't handle, of course. I'm sure you've handled quite a lot behind my back, Nathan. Olivia's voice was pleasant, her meaning anything but. A flicker of unease crossed Nathan's face before his mask returned. Always working for the company's best interests. Speaking of which, will you be joining the dinner with Wilson from Apex next week? He's been quite insistent about meeting you. I'm sure he has. Tell him I look forward to discussing exactly how much of our intellectual property he's been accessing lately. Nathan's smile faltered. I don't understand. You will, soon enough. As Nathan walked away, Olivia's composed facade cracked slightly. She leaned against the wall, taking a deep breath. Are you okay? Alex asked quietly. No, but I will be when this is over. She straightened. I need to show you something. In her office, Olivia pulled up security footage on her computer. It showed Nathan in the parking garage, passing a flash drive to someone whose face wasn't visible. This was 2 days ago. I've been gathering evidence, but it's not enough yet. The board respects Nathan. They've known him for years. They'll need irrefutable proof. And you think I can help find it? I think you see people clearly. It's in the way you watch, the way you listen. You were a doctor. You're trained to observe symptoms and diagnose problems. That was a long time ago. Some skills never leave you. She closed the laptop. Tomorrow I need you to come to the executive meeting. Not as my driver, but as my new security consultant. I don't know anything about corporate security. You don't need to. You just need to watch Nathan, his assistant, Jennifer, and our IT director, Marcus Wong. All three have been acting strangely. Alex hesitated. He'd signed up to drive, not to infiltrate corporate espionage. But the thought of Sophie's surgery, of her brave face's sounds faded around her, made the decision for him. All right, but I'm not wearing a wire or anything like that. Olivia actually laughed. This isn't a spy movie, Parker. Just observe and report. The next morning, Alex wore his suit again, this time with a Reed Technologies visitor badge that identified him as A. Parker, security consultant. He felt like an imposter, but reminded himself he was doing this for Sophie. The executive meeting was held in a glass-walled conference room with views of the entire city. 12 people sat around a polished table that probably cost more than Alex's car, all focused on quarterly projections displayed on a massive screen. Nathan controlled the room with practiced ease, his presentation smooth and convincing. To casual observers, he appeared completely loyal to Reed Technologies and its future. But Alex noticed things others might miss, how Nathan subtly undermined Olivia's past decisions, how he positioned himself as the reasonable alternative to her risky vision, how he made eye contact with Jennifer and Marcus Wong at key moments. When the meeting ended, Alex followed Nathan down the hallway, maintaining enough distance to appear casual. Nathan stopped at the elevators, checking his phone. As he waited, Marcus Wong approached, keeping his voice low. The server transfer is complete. No one noticed the data packets. Good. Nathan barely moved his lips. Everything needs to be in place before Tuesday's board meeting. Apex is ready to announce as soon as Olivia's out. What about the security consultant? Who is he? Just some ex-doctor Olivia hired to intimidate us, probably sleeping with her. Ignore him. The elevator arrived, ending their conversation. Alex continued past, pretending to study something on his phone, his heart racing. He'd just witnessed exactly what Olivia needed: direct evidence of collusion. He found her in her office, pacing as she dictated emails to her assistant. "I need to talk to you," he said when they were alone. "I just overheard Nathan and Wong. They're transferring data to Apex before Tuesday's board meeting. They're planning to announce something as soon as you're removed." Olivia's expression hardened. "Did you record it?" "No, but then it's your word against theirs, not enough." She ran a hand through her perfect hair, the first sign of genuine distress he'd seen from her. "We need more." "What exactly are they taking?" "Project Aurora. It's our next generation AI algorithm. 5 years of research, hundreds of millions in development. It's going to revolutionize medical diagnostics, allowing early detection of diseases that currently go unnoticed until it's too late. It could save millions of lives." The irony wasn't lost on Alex, a medical breakthrough being stolen while a former doctor tried to stop it. "The server room," he said suddenly. "If they're transferring data, there must be records." "The server room is highly secure. We can't just walk in." "No, but I bet your 8 director can." Alex's mind was working the problem like a diagnosis. And if he's meeting with Nathan somewhere to update him— "The parking garage," Olivia finished his thought. "It's where they always meet. There are cameras, but Wong would know where the blind spots are." "So we watch the garage, catch them in the act." Olivia nodded slowly. "Tonight. Nathan always works late on Wednesdays." As darkness fell, Alex and Olivia sat in her car in the parking garage, 2 levels down from the executive spaces. They'd been waiting for hours, speaking little, the silence between them now comfortable rather than strained. "Why medicine?" Olivia asked suddenly. "What made you become a doctor?" Alex was surprised by the personal question. "My father died of a heart attack when I was 12. The doctors couldn't save him. I wanted to be able to save someone else's father." "And did you? Save people?" "Many, not all." He looked out the window. "But enough to know I made a difference. Until Sarah." "Until Sarah." He turned to face her. "What about you? Why technology?" "Control. Foster homes teach you that you can control nothing in your life, not where you live, who cares for you when you leave. But with computers, with code, I could create order from chaos, build something that followed logical rules. And now someone's using that against you. The ultimate betrayal." Her voice was soft but steady. "Using what I built to destroy me." Movement near the elevator caught their attention. Nathan and Wong appeared, heads close together in conversation. They moved toward Nathan's car, a sleek Audi parked in the corner. "There," Olivia whispered. "Wong's giving him something." Alex took out his phone, recording as Wong handed Nathan what looked like a hard drive. "That's it," Olivia said. "That's Aurora." Nathan pocketed the drive, clapped Wong on the shoulder, and turned, looking directly toward their car. "Down." Alex pulled Olivia below the dashboard just as Nathan's gaze swept over them. They stayed frozen, barely breathing, until they heard cars starting and driving away. "Did they see us?" Olivia whispered, her face inches from Alex's in the cramped space. "I don't think so." Alex realized suddenly how close they were. Could smell her perfume. Something expensive but subtle, like everything else about her. Olivia seemed to realize it too. For a moment, neither moved. Then she straightened, professional mask sliding back into place. "We should go. I have the evidence I need now." But as they drove out of the garage, Nathan's Audi suddenly appeared, blocking their exit. He stepped out, smiling coldly. "Olivia, out for a late-night drive with your consultant?" Olivia rolled down her window, composed as ever. "Nathan, working late again? Or just stealing more of my company's intellectual property?" His smile faltered only slightly. "I don't know what you're talking about." "The hard drive Wong just gave you, Project Aurora. Did you really think I wouldn't notice?" "You have no proof." Alex held up his phone. "Actually, we do." Nathan's expression darkened. "Who exactly are you? Some hired thug Olivia found to intimidate me?" "I'm just a driver," Alex replied calmly. "A driver. Right." Nathan's laugh was ugly. "Well, driver, do you know who you're really working for?" Did she tell you about the lives she's ruined building her precious company? The people she's stepped on? Like you're stepping on her now, Alex countered. This isn't personal. It's business. Nathan turned to Olivia. The board meeting is still happening Tuesday. Even with your little video, it won't be enough. They trust me more than you. Always have. We'll see about that. Olivia's voice was ice. Now move your car before I have security remove it. And you, from the premises. For a moment, Nathan seemed ready to refuse. Then he shrugged, returning to his car. As he drove away, he called through the window. See you Tuesday, Olivia. Bring your resignation letter. When they were alone again, Olivia let out a shaky breath. He's right. The video helps, but it might not be enough. The board has always favored Nathan. He's their kind. Old money, right schools, right connections. And you're not? I'm a foster kid who taught herself to code and built something they never could. They respect my success, but they have never truly accepted me. They drove in silence until reaching Olivia's building. As she prepared to exit, Alex asked the question that had been bothering him all night. Was Nathan right about the people you've hurt building your company? Olivia paused, hand on the door handle. I've made decisions I'm not proud of, sacrifices that seemed necessary at the time. But Project Aurora, it's different. It's a chance to use technology to truly help people, to save lives. She looked at him directly. Isn't that why you became a doctor? To save lives? Before he could answer, she was gone, disappearing into her building with the same determined stride she used walking into board meetings. Alex sat there long after she'd gone, thinking about sacrifice and redemption, and wondering how someone so successful could seem as lost as he was. Thursday morning dawned with a sense of urgency that hadn't been there before. Alex dropped Sophie at school earlier than usual, his mind already racing with the previous night's confrontation in the parking garage. Today marked day 5 of his 7-day arrangement with Olivia, only 3 days left to gather enough evidence before the board meeting that could destroy everything she'd built. You're distracted, Sophie observed as they pulled up to her elementary school. Her hearing aids were visible today, the small devices tucked behind her ears, a reminder of what was at stake. Just thinking about work, sweetie. Sophie studied him with that unnerving perception children sometimes possess. Is your boss lady in trouble? Alex smiled despite himself. Boss lady? That's what Mike called her when he was talking to you last night. He said, your boss lady is going to get you into trouble. Mike talks too much, Alex said, making a mental note to have a conversation with his friend about little pitchers having big ears. And yes, she is in some trouble, but we're working on fixing it. Sophie nodded seriously. Like how Dr. Morrison is going to fix my ears? Something like that. She unbuckled her seatbelt and leaned over to kiss his cheek. You're good at fixing things, Daddy. You'll help her. As she skipped toward the school entrance, Alex found himself hoping her confidence wasn't misplaced. He'd failed to fix the most important thing in his life once before. The morning traffic moved sluggishly, allowing Alex's mind to wander to dangerous territory. Sarah's accident, the impossible choice he'd made. The look on Sophie's face when he'd had to tell her Mommy wasn't coming home. He shook his head, refocusing on the road. The past couldn't be changed, but Sophie's future still hung in the balance. His phone rang, Mike calling much earlier than usual. You left the apartment like you were being chased, Mike said without preamble. Everything okay? Fine, just a busy day ahead. You're a terrible liar, Doc, always have been. Mike's voice softened. Look, I know that look you had this morning. It's the same one you had after Sarah. You're in over your head with something. Alex sighed. Mike had been there for the worst moments after Sarah's death. The drinking, the nightmares, the day Alex had turned in his hospital ID for good. It's complicated. It always is. Just remember you've got Sophie to think about. And me, if you need backup. I still know some guys from my service days who owe me favors. The offer, half joking but wholly sincere, warmed something in Alex's chest. Thanks, Mike. I'll keep that in mind. When he arrived at Reed Technologies, the atmosphere was noticeably tenser. Security in the lobby checked his credentials twice. Employees spoke in hushed tones near elevators. Something had shifted overnight. The elevator ride to the executive floor seemed longer than usual. A young woman in a tailored suit stepped in, her eyes widening slightly when she noticed Alex. "You're the new security consultant, right?" she asked, her voice low. "Working with Ms. Reed?" Alex nodded cautiously. She glanced around as if checking for eavesdroppers, despite them being alone in the elevator. "There are rumors about Mr. Chen in the board meeting." She handed him a folded piece of paper. "I work in legal with Ms. Morgan. Tell Ms. Reed that some of us are still loyal." Before Alex could respond, the doors opened and she hurried away, leaving him holding what appeared to be an internal memo about the emergency pre-board meeting Nathan had called for Friday morning. The agenda included a vote of no confidence in current leadership. Olivia waited in her office, already deep in conversation with a woman Alex hadn't met before. Tall, immaculately dressed, with the sharp eyes of someone who missed nothing. "Parker, this is Jessica Morgan, head of legal," Olivia introduced without preamble. "She's the only other person who knows everything." Jessica extended her hand, her grip firm and assessing. "So you're the driver who's become our amateur detective." "Just helping where I can." Alex handed her the memo. "One of your team members gave me this. Said to tell you some people are still loyal." Jessica scanned the document, her expression hardening. "He's moved up the timeline. This was supposed to happen Tuesday, not tomorrow." "Nathan's called an emergency pre-board meeting for tomorrow morning," Jessica explained to Olivia. "He's moving faster than we anticipated." Olivia's expression remained neutral, but Alex caught the slight tightening of her jaw. "He's nervous. Good. That means our surveillance last night rattled him. Unfortunately," Jessica continued, "your parking garage video won't be enough. The board will claim it just shows a routine IT transfer. We need concrete proof that he's passing information to Apex." "What about his computer?" Alex suggested. "There must be emails, documents, something." Jessica shook her head. "Nathan's too careful for that, and we can't access his computer without raising legal issues that would compromise any evidence we find." "What about his assistant, Jennifer?" Alex remembered the young woman who'd exchanged glances with Nathan during the executive meeting. She'd have access to his schedule, communications. Olivia and Jessica exchanged looks. "That might work," Jessica admitted, "if she's been setting up his meetings with Apex." "She has," Olivia confirmed, "but she's fiercely loyal to Nathan. She won't talk to me or anyone she perceives as my ally." Alex thought for a moment. "She doesn't know me, not really. I'm just the new security consultant who happens to drive you around." "What are you suggesting?" Olivia asked. "Let me talk to her. Not as your representative, but as someone who's noticed her. Professionally." Jessica raised an eyebrow. "You're going to flirt information out of her?" "I'm going to have a conversation with someone who might know more than she realizes. Sometimes people in support roles see everything, but aren't really seen themselves." Olivia studied him for a long moment. "It's worth trying, but be careful. If Nathan finds out you're asking questions—" "I'll be discreet," Alex promised, though he wondered if he remembered how to have a casual conversation with a woman after 2 years of emotional isolation. Before he left, Olivia touched his arm lightly. "Parker, you know what we're up against now. This isn't just about me or my company anymore. Nathan is willing to play very dirty." "I know. If at any point you want to walk away, I'll understand. You have Sophie to think about." Alex thought about Sophie's words that morning. "You're good at fixing things, Daddy." "I'm already involved. Might as well see it through." As Alex made his way to the executive floor where Jennifer's desk was located, he contemplated his approach. It had been years since he'd attempted to charm information out of someone, not since his residency days when getting nurses to prioritize his patients had been an essential skill. He passed Nathan's office, relieved to see it empty. A calendar on Jennifer's computer screen showed Nathan in meetings until early afternoon. Perfect timing. Jennifer Hayes worked at a desk outside Nathan's office. Early 30s, meticulous in appearance and organization, she guarded her boss's schedule with the vigilance of a sentry. Alex approached during the lunch hour when the executive floor was half empty. "Excuse me," he began, offering his most disarming smile. "Jennifer, right? I'm Alex Parker, new security consultant." She looked up, her expression professionally neutral. "Mr. Parker, what can I help you with?" "Actually, I was hoping to help you. I need to update the executive security protocols. And I've been told you're the person who keeps this floor running. A hint of surprise crossed her features. People in support roles rarely received recognition. That's kind of you to say, but I'm just Mr. Chen's assistant. From what I've observed, there's no just about your position. You coordinate everything. The compliment, genuine rather than flattering, earned him a slight softening of her expression. What exactly do you need? I'm reviewing executive travel and meeting patterns to identify potential security gaps. I was hoping to get a look at Mr. Chen's recent external meeting schedule. The past month would be helpful. Jennifer hesitated. That information is confidential. I'd need Mr. Chen's approval. Of course, Alex nodded, preparing to retreat and rethink his strategy. I understand completely. I wouldn't want to put you in an awkward position. As he turned to leave, Jennifer called after him. Wait. Alex paused, careful not to appear too eager. Mr. Chen is at lunch until 2. I can show you the general schedule without specific meeting details. Would that help? That would be perfect, thank you. Jennifer pulled up a calendar on her computer, angling the screen so Alex could see. These are all his external meetings for the past month. Alex scanned the screen, looking for patterns. There it was. Every Tuesday and Thursday, Nathan had a standing appointment marked only as the consultation. W.C. Wilson Consulting? Alex guessed, remembering James Wilson, CEO of Apex. Jennifer's surprise confirmed his suspicion before she could hide it. How did you know that? Just a lucky guess. IT security requires a bit of pattern recognition. He pointed to another recurring meeting. And these lunch meetings at Dorsch's, are they business or personal? Business, always. Mr. Chen believes in building relationships over meals. Smart man, Alex agreed. Dorsch's is exclusive. Hard to get a reservation unless you're a regular. Or unless you book under James Wilson's name, Jennifer said with a small smile, clearly trying to impress him with her insider knowledge. He owns part of the restaurant. Alex kept his expression neutral, despite the significant piece of information she'd just revealed. Efficient, so they meet there often? At least once a week for the past 2 months. They're working on a collaboration. Sounds important. Mr. Chen says it's going to revolutionize the company. Her voice dropped. Between us, I think there might be a leadership change coming. Mr. Chen has been preparing transition documents. Alex raised an eyebrow. Transition documents? For the board, organizational restructuring plans. She leaned closer, lowering her voice further. I shouldn't be telling you this, but Mr. Chen mentioned that Ms. Reed might be stepping down soon. That's surprising. She built this company from nothing. Jennifer shrugged slightly. Mr. Chen says sometimes founders aren't the right people to take companies to the next level. He has a vision for expanding into new markets, partnering with Apex on cutting-edge technology. Partnering or selling? Jennifer seemed to suddenly remember herself. I've probably said too much. Security protocols. You said you needed meeting patterns, not details. You're absolutely right. This has been incredibly helpful. Alex stood. Would it be all right if I came back to you with any follow-up questions? You've been more helpful than anyone else I've spoken with. The compliment worked. Jennifer smiled, a real smile this time. That would be fine, Mr. Parker. Alex, please. Alex, she nodded. I'm usually here until 6. As Alex walked away, he knew he'd just gotten exactly what they needed. Concrete evidence of Nathan's meetings with Apex and confirmation of the planned takeover. But it wasn't proof that would stand up in a boardroom. They needed documentation. He returned to Olivia's office, where she and Jessica were reviewing financial reports. Nathan and Wilson meet weekly at a restaurant Wilson partially owns, he reported. They've been meeting for at least 2 months, and Jennifer mentioned transition documents Nathan has been preparing. Jessica looked impressed despite herself. That was fast. The restaurant connection is good, Olivia mused. If Wilson owns it, there might be a private dining room with less security than our building. We could potentially get access to their next meeting. When is it? Jessica asked. Alex grimaced. That's the problem. According to Jennifer's calendar, they're meeting tonight. Tonight? Olivia checked her watch. That doesn't give us much time to prepare. There's something else, Alex added. Jennifer thinks there's going to be a leadership change. Nathan's convinced her it's a done deal. Anger flashed across Olivia's face, quickly contained. He's been planning this for months, building toward the board meeting, all while smiling to my face every day. Jessica tapped her pen against the desk thoughtfully. If he's meeting Wilson tonight, it must be to finalize details before tomorrow's pre-board meeting. We need to know what they're discussing. We need to get into that dinner meeting, Jessica stated firmly. If they're discussing the takeover openly, I can get us in, Alex interrupted. Jennifer mentioned it's at Dorsch's at 8 tonight. Us? Olivia raised an eyebrow. They know what you look like. They don't know me. Alex thought quickly. But it would make sense for me to be there with someone. On a date, perhaps. You want me to pose as your date at one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city, where my CFO is meeting with my biggest competitor? Olivia's tone was incredulous. Not you, Alex clarified. You'd be recognized immediately. But Jessica? Absolutely not, Jessica interrupted. I've been Nathan's opposing counsel in too many meetings. He knows me. Alex ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. Then an idea struck. I know someone who could help. Someone Nathan wouldn't know and who owes me a favor. Who? Olivia asked. Sophie's surgeon, Dr. Lisa Morrison. We worked together for years at Metropolitan. She's brilliant, observant, and she already knows part of what's happening because of Sophie's case. Can you trust her? Jessica's question was pointed. With my life, and more importantly, with Sophie's life. Olivia nodded. Make the call. 20 minutes later, Lisa Morrison walked into Olivia's office. Lisa Morrison, chief of surgery at Metropolitan Hospital, had once been Alex's colleague and friend. She was also the surgeon scheduled to perform Sophie's operation, and one of the few people from his medical days who still spoke to him. Alex Parker asking for a favor, she said by way of greeting. Must be the apocalypse. Despite her teasing tone, Lisa's appearance reflected her surgical precision. Every hair in place, posture perfect, eyes missing nothing. At 45, she carried herself with the quiet confidence of someone who routinely held lives in her hands. Thank you for coming, Dr. Morrison. Olivia stood to shake her hand. I'm Olivia Reed. The Olivia Reed? Lisa looked impressed. Your AI diagnostic platform is being tested at Met. The preliminary results are remarkable. That's actually related to why we need your help, Alex explained. He quickly outlined the situation with Nathan and Project Aurora. Lisa listened without interruption, her expression growing increasingly serious. When Alex finished, she turned to Olivia. So this Project Aurora, it's the diagnostic AI we've been testing? Olivia nodded. An advanced version, the current trial system can detect 5 major conditions. The complete Aurora platform can identify over 50, many in pre-symptomatic stages. And if Apex acquires it, they'll control the technology, the pricing, the distribution. Their business model focuses on luxury medicine and exclusive contracts, meaning hospitals like Metropolitan, public institutions serving diverse populations, would be priced out, Lisa concluded. Exactly. Lisa turned back to Alex. So you want me to pose as your date at a fancy restaurant and help you eavesdrop on corporate espionage? Lisa summarized. That's not exactly in my job description. Think of it this way, Alex countered. Project Aurora could save countless lives with early disease detection. If Apex steals it, or if by deposit, they'll control the technology and the price point. How many hospitals won't be able to afford it then? Not to mention, Olivia added quietly, Nathan seems to have taken a particular interest in Sophie's surgery. We believe he might try to interfere if we continue investigating him. That got Lisa's attention. What exactly has he done regarding Sophie? Alex explained about Nathan's connections to Metropolitan Hospital's board members and their suspicion that he might use those connections to delay Sophie's surgery. That's not just unethical, it's criminal, Lisa said, anger evident in her voice, using a child's medical care as leverage. Welcome to Nathan's world, Jessica commented dryly. Lisa considered this for a long moment, her surgeon's mind clearly weighing risks and benefits. All right, I'm in. But not just for your corporate intrigue, for Sophie and for my patients who could benefit from that AI system. Add it to my tab, Alex said with a grateful smile. And thank you for taking Sophie's case. She's a special kid. We're going to do everything we can for her. Lisa's expression softened. How is she doing? Brave, scared, trying not to show either. Like father, like daughter. Lisa turned to Olivia. So, Ms. Reed, what exactly is the plan for tonight? As the day progressed, they refined their strategy. Lisa and Alex would secure a table near Nathan and Wilson's regular spot. With a small recording device provided by Jessica, they would attempt to capture incriminating conversation. It wasn't a perfect plan, but it was the best they could manage on short notice. What about backup? Mike had asked when Alex called to arrange for him to watch Sophie that evening. If this guy is as dangerous as you say, you shouldn't go in alone. Lisa will be with me. A surgeon, great. So she can patch you up after they catch you spying? Mike's sarcasm was thick. Look, I've got a buddy who works security, ex-military, like me. He could be there, no connection to you, just an extra set of eyes. Too risky. More people means more chances of being noticed. Your call, Doc, but I don't like it. Alex appreciated Mike's concern, but the fewer people involved, the better. This wasn't a military operation. It was information gathering. In and out, no confrontation. Before leaving to change for the evening, Alex called Sophie for their daily check-in. How are you feeling, sweet pea? My ears hurt a little, but I did all my homework, Sophie reported proudly. Mike says we're having pizza for dinner. Can I have pineapple on mine? Absolutely not. Pineapple on pizza is a crime against nature, Alex teased, grateful that Mike had agreed to watch Sophie for the evening. Mike says the same thing. You're both pizza boringists. That's purists, Soph. Alex laughed, then grew more serious. Listen, I might be home later than usual tonight, but I'll come kiss you good night, even if you're already asleep. Is it for your boss lady? Are you fixing her problem? We're trying. She has something important that some bad people want to take away. Like a princess with a magic power? Alex smiled at her simplification. Something like that. In my stories, the knight always saves the princess. Well, in this story, the princess is pretty good at saving herself. The knight is just helping out. After the call ended, Alex stood lost in thought until Olivia's voice broke through his reverie. Knight and princess, huh? He turned to find her leaning against the doorframe of her office, an unreadable expression on her face. Kids and their fairy tales, he said, slightly embarrassed. Sophie has a vivid imagination. I like her perspective. Olivia stepped fully into the room. But in my experience, there aren't many knights left in the world. Just people looking out for themselves. Maybe you haven't been looking in the right places. Their eyes met, a moment of understanding passing between them before Olivia broke the connection. We should prepare for tonight. I've arranged for appropriate attire for you and Dr. Morrison. The clothes will be delivered to your apartment. That's not necessary. Dorcia's has a strict dress code. Trust me, it's necessary. She checked her watch. You should go. Dr. Morrison will meet you at the restaurant at 7:30. As Alex turned to leave, Olivia called after him. Parker, He paused. Thank you for all of this. Just doing my job. No, she shook her head slightly. You're going far beyond driving me around. I won't forget it. The promised clothes arrived at Alex's apartment an hour later. A tailored suit that fit him perfectly, making him wonder how Olivia had guessed his measurements. Mike whistled when he emerged from his bedroom. Look at you, all James Bond. Sophie, come see your dad. Sophie came running from the kitchen, stopping in her tracks when she saw Alex. Daddy, you look like a prince. Alex adjusted his tie self-consciously. Just fancy clothes for a fancy restaurant, kiddo. Is your boss lady going to be there? Sophie asked innocently. No, just a doctor friend who's helping us with a project. He knelt to her level. Now you be good for Mike, okay? And not too much pizza. Too late, Mike grinned. We already ordered, with pineapple. Traitor, Alex accused with a mock glare. As he headed for the door, Sophie called after him. Daddy? Yes, sweet pea? You look happy. Different. Alex wasn't sure how to respond to that observation. Was he different? These past 5 days with Olivia had awakened something he thought had died with Sarah, a sense of purpose beyond mere survival. I'll see you later, Soph. Love you. Love you too. Mike followed him to the door, his expression turning serious. Be careful tonight, Alex. Remember what I said about backup. I'll be fine, it's just dinner. Yeah, and Sarah's accident was just another night at the hospital. Mike's words were blunt, but his concern was genuine. Just Watch your back, okay? And call me if anything feels off. Dorsch's was everything Alex expected from an exclusive restaurant. Understated elegance that somehow still screamed money. The kind of place where the staff memorized regulars' preferences and the wine list didn't bother with prices. The maitre d' greeted him with the perfect balance of deference and evaluation. Your name, sir? Parker, table for two. My guest will be arriving shortly. Of course, Mr. Parker. Please follow me. As they wound through the restaurant, Alex scanned the room casually, looking for Nathan. He spotted him in a semi-private alcove near the back, perfect for confidential conversations, but also perfect for their purposes, as several tables had clear sightlines to the area. Would this table be acceptable, sir? The maitre d' indicated a table that, while not directly adjacent to Nathan's, offered a decent view. Actually, I prefer something closer to the window, if possible. Alex nodded subtly toward a table that would give them a better position for eavesdropping. Of course, sir. Once seated, Alex positioned himself with a clear view of Nathan's table. The CFO was already deep in conversation with an older man, presumably James Wilson of Apex Technologies. They were reviewing something on a tablet, heads close together. Lisa arrived precisely on time, looking elegant in a deep blue dress that reminded Alex of surgical scrubs, her comfort color. I feel like I'm undercover in enemy territory, she murmured as he stood to greet her. Half the hospital board eats here. If they see me, I'll never hear the end of it. You look great, Alex assured her, pulling out her chair. Ready to play spy? As I'll ever be. Nathan's already here, by the way, corner table. She discreetly indicated the semi-private alcove. The older man with him must be Wilson. Good eye, keep it casual, but if you can hear anything they are saying, please, Lisa smiled as she unfolded her napkin. I can hear a murmur across a crowded emergency room. This is nothing. As they settled in, Alex positioned the small recording device Jessica had provided, disguised as a fancy pen, on the table edge closest to Nathan's alcove. So, Lisa said conversationally, loud enough to establish their cover as a normal dinner date, how are things outside the medical world? I still can't believe you left. Different, Alex replied honestly. Simpler in some ways, more complicated in others. The nursing staff misses you. So do the residents. You were a good teacher. I wasn't in a good place to teach anyone anything after Sarah. Lisa's expression softened with genuine compassion. The M&M review cleared you completely, Alex. What happened wasn't your fault. Legally, maybe, but we both know I made a choice that night. The right choice, medically. The impossible choice, personally. She reached across the table to touch his hand. That's why you were such a good doctor. You could make the tough calls. Their conversation paused as the waiter arrived to take their orders. Over Lisa's shoulder, Alex could see Nathan and Wilson deep in discussion, occasionally glancing at documents on a tablet. Target at your 5 o'clock is getting animated, Alex murmured after the waiter left. Lisa casually turned as if taking in the restaurant's ambiance. The older man just passed something to Nathan. Looks like a thumb drive. Can you hear anything? Just fragments. Something about board support and Tuesday announcement. Alex nodded slightly, indicating the recording device was hopefully capturing more. He positioned it on the table edge closest to Nathan's alcove. For the next 30 minutes, they maintained their cover, discussing hospital gossip and mutual acquaintances while keeping peripheral awareness of the meeting behind them. Alex noticed that whenever Nathan spoke about Olivia, his expression hardened with barely concealed contempt. It's personal for him, Alex observed quietly. This isn't just about business. Men like that can't stand being outshone by women, Lisa replied, having seen similar dynamics throughout her medical career, especially self-made women who didn't follow the traditional path. Their food arrived, and they ate while maintaining casual conversation. Over coffee, Alex noticed Nathan's meeting seemed to be wrapping up. Wilson was putting the tablet away, and Nathan was signaling for the check. They're finishing up, Alex murmured. Did we get anything useful? Hard to say. The recording might have picked up more than we could hear directly. As the waiter cleared their plates, Lisa suddenly tensed. Nathan just mentioned Morrison, my name. He's talking about me to Wilson. Alex's blood ran cold. What exactly did he say? I couldn't catch it all. Something about Morrison's situation being handled. Before Alex could respond, Nathan stood and stepped away, presumably heading to the restroom. "Now's our chance," Lisa whispered. "If I walk past their table, I might be able to glimpse what's on that tablet." "Too risky," Alex cautioned. "If Nathan comes back, trust me, I've done riskier things in the OR." She stood gracefully. "I'll be right back." Before Alex could protest further, Lisa was walking toward the restrooms, her path taking her directly past Wilson's table. As she passed, she stumbled slightly, her hand catching the edge of their table for balance. "I'm so sorry," Alex heard her apologize. "These new shoes—" Wilson looked up, momentarily distracted, as Lisa steadied herself, her eyes quickly scanning the tablet he'd left face up on the table. "No harm done," Wilson replied smoothly. "Are you all right?" "Perfectly fine, thank you. Just embarrassed." Lisa continued toward the restrooms, passing Nathan as he returned. When she rejoined Alex, her expression was controlled, but her eyes conveyed urgency. "We need to leave now." "What did you see?" "Not here," she muttered, "but it's worse than you thought." Alex signaled for the check, trying to appear unhurried despite Lisa's obvious tension. As they waited, Nathan glanced their way. For a moment, his eyes narrowed as he studied Alex, but then Wilson said something that recaptured his attention. Once outside, Lisa finally spoke. That tablet had board presentation slides open. It wasn't just about stealing Project Aurora. They're planning to dissolve Reed Technologies entirely, break it up and sell off the parts. Olivia would lose everything. "Jesus," Alex breathed. "Did you see any specifics?" "The slide mentioned unanimous board support in a Tuesday announcement, just like we heard. There was a breakdown of how the company would be divided, with Apex getting the AI division and Aurora." Alex pulled out his phone to call Olivia, but Lisa stopped him. "There's more. One of the slides had Sophie Surgeon's name on it. Dr. Morrison. My name." "What? Why would—" "I don't know, but Nathan knows who I am, Alex. When he passed me coming back from the restroom, he smiled. Not a friendly smile." A chill ran down Alex's spine. "We need to go. Now." "Wait," Lisa caught his arm. "They also had a document open labeled Parker File. I only saw the header, but Alex, they've been investigating you. Your past at the hospital, your financial situation, everything." The implications were staggering. Nathan wasn't just targeting Olivia's company. He was targeting everyone connected to her, including a 6-year-old girl whose only crime was being the daughter of someone trying to help. "I shouldn't have involved you in this," Alex said, guilt washing over him. "Now you're in danger too." "I was already involved the moment Sophie became my patient," Lisa countered firmly. "And I don't scare easily. 20 years in trauma surgery teaches you a few things about keeping your head in a crisis." They took separate cabs as a precaution. Lisa back to the hospital, Alex to Reed Technologies, where Olivia was waiting. The entire ride, his mind raced with possibilities, none of them good. If Nathan had connected him to Lisa, had he also connected him to Olivia's investigation? And why was Lisa's name in their presentation? The night security guard at Reed Technologies recognized him now, nodding him through with minimal fuss. "Ms. Reed said to send you straight up when you arrived." Olivia's office was dimly lit when he arrived, the city skyline glittering through the floor-to-ceiling windows. She sat behind her desk, still working despite the late hour. "You're back early," she observed, looking up from her computer. "Did something go wrong?" Alex explained what Lisa had seen, watching Olivia's expression harden with each detail. "They're going to dismantle my company," she said when he finished, her voice dangerously calm. "Everything I've built, everything my people have worked for." "There's more," Alex hesitated, unsure how to broach the next part. "Lisa saw her own name in the presentation. She's Sophie Surgeon." Olivia's eyes widened slightly. "That can't be a coincidence. Nathan saw me at the restaurant. If he connects me to you, to this investigation, he might target Sophie's surgery." Olivia completed the thought, standing abruptly. "I underestimated him. I thought this was just business, but he's making it personal." "I need to call this hospital, make sure Sophie's surgery is secure." "It won't be enough," Olivia interrupted. "If Nathan wants to interfere, he has the connections to do it. Metropolitan Hospital has board members who invest with him. He could apply pressure, create delays, find ways to compromise Sophie's care without being obvious about it. Alex felt the floor shift beneath him. Sophie's surgery was scheduled for Monday morning, just 4 days away. If Nathan interfered, I need to get her to another hospital, another surgeon. In 4 days? With her condition? Olivia shook her head. You know that's not realistic. She was right. Finding a specialized otolaryngologist who could take an emergency case, transferring medical records, insurance approvals, it would take weeks they didn't have. What am I supposed to do? Just wait for him to hurt my daughter to get to me? To you? Olivia paced the length of her office, thinking rapidly. There must be another way, a way to protect Sophie and stop Nathan. I could go to the police, Alex suggested. Corporate espionage is a crime. By the time they investigate, Nathan will have destroyed the evidence and completed his takeover, and he'd claim any attack on Sophie's surgery was coincidental. Olivia stopped pacing suddenly. No, we need to act now, tonight. What are you thinking? Nathan's left us no choice. We need definitive evidence immediately. She reached for her phone. Jessica, it's me. We need to accelerate the plan. Yes, now. Meet us in the server room in 20 minutes. She hung up and turned to Alex. I didn't want to do this until we had more evidence, but we're out of options. We're going to access Nathan's secure files tonight. I thought that would create legal problems with the evidence. It will, but right now I'm less concerned with winning in the boardroom and more concerned with protecting Sophie. She met his gaze directly. And you? The server room was the heart of Reed Technologies, a climate-controlled space humming with the power of countless processors. Jessica waited for them, along with an anxious-looking man Alex hadn't met before. This is Tom Reeves, our head of cybersecurity, Olivia introduced, and someone I trust implicitly. Tom was younger than Alex expected, probably early 30s, with the pale complexion of someone who's spent most of his time indoors. He nodded nervously. Ms. Reed explained the situation. What you're asking is technically possible, but it's a significant security breach. If anyone finds out I helped, no one will find out, Jessica assured him. This stays between the four of us. What exactly are we doing here? Alex asked. Nathan maintains private servers for his most sensitive work, Olivia explained. They're part of our network, but protected by additional security. Tom is going to help us access those servers and find evidence of his dealings with Apex. And his plans regarding Sophie, Alex added grimly. Tom moved to a terminal, fingers flying across the keyboard. The screens before him displayed line after line of code, meaningless to Alex but clearly significant to Tom, whose frown deepened as he worked. His security is tighter than we thought, Tom muttered. Multiple layers of encryption. He's definitely hiding something. Can you get through it? Olivia asked. Yes, but it'll leave traces. He'll know someone accessed his files. That's a risk we'll have to take. Olivia's voice was firm. How long do we have once you're in? I can create a temporary backdoor access, but it will only stay open for about 30 minutes before the system flags it as unusual activity. That should be enough, Olivia said. Focus on communications with Apex, Project Aurora, and anything related to Metropolitan Hospital or Dr. Morrison. For several tense minutes, they watched Tom navigate through layers of security. Finally, he sat back. I'm in. You have 28 minutes. Olivia took his place at the terminal, scrolling rapidly through folders and files. Here's the Aurora data. He's been transferring it to an external server for weeks. Small packets to avoid detection. Can you trace where it went? Jessica asked. Apex's development environment. He didn't even try to hide it. Olivia continued searching. Here's a draft of the board presentation. Lisa was right. They're planning to break up the company. Alex leaned closer, scanning for any mention of Sophie or Dr. Morrison. Check his email communications. Olivia navigated to Nathan's email client. There's a folder labeled Met Hospital. That can't be coincidence. She opened it, revealing dozens of exchanges with hospital board members. The most recent, dated that afternoon, made Alex's blood run cold. Dr. Morrison's surgical privileges are under review, he read aloud. The committee is convening tomorrow to discuss the complaint. What complaint? Jessica asked. Olivia opened the attachment. A fabricated ethics violation. Nathan manufactured evidence suggesting Lisa accepted bribes to prioritize certain patients. She'd never do that, Alex said firmly. Anyone who knows her would know that's absurd. It doesn't matter if it's true, Jessica pointed out. Just the allegation would be enough to suspend her privileges pending investigation. And that would happen before Sophie's surgery on Monday, Alex finished, feeling sick. He's going to make sure she can't operate. Not if we stop him first. Olivia continued searching, her determination palpable. Here, he scheduled the hospital board meeting for tomorrow morning at 9. He's moving fast. We need to warn Lisa, Alex said, already reaching for his phone. Wait, Olivia's voice stopped him. There's more. He has files on you too, Alex. The screen displayed a folder simply labeled Parker. Inside were detailed reports on Alex's career, the incident with Sarah, his current financial situation, and, most disturbingly, Sophie's medical records. How did he get those? Alex's voice was barely controlled fury. Those are confidential medical records. Money opens many doors, Jessica said grimly, and Nathan has plenty of it. Olivia opened another email, this one to James Wilson. Listen to this. Parker is a complication we didn't anticipate. His connection to both Reed and Morrison creates vulnerabilities in our timeline. I've initiated contingency measures to neutralize both issues simultaneously. By Monday, neither will be obstacles. Neutralize, Alex repeated, the clinical term chilling in its detachment. He's talking about interfering with my daughter's medical care. No, Olivia corrected, her voice hard. He's talking about destroying a 6-year-old's chance to hear because her father tried to help me. She turned to face Alex fully. This is my fault. I brought you into this. I chose to help, Alex reminded her, but Sophie didn't choose any of this. And she won't suffer for it, Olivia promised. We have the evidence now. Emails, file transfers, board presentations, everything we need to prove what Nathan's doing. Will it be enough to stop him in time? Alex asked. The hospital board meets tomorrow at 9. Sophie's surgery is Monday. It has to be, Olivia said simply. She turned to Tom. Download everything, every email, every file, every piece of evidence. As Tom worked, transferring the data to an encrypted drive, Jessica reviewed the legal implications. This is corporate espionage, fraud, possible HIPAA violations for accessing medical records. Nathan's looking at serious criminal charges, not just civil liability. Good, Olivia said coldly. He deserves every bit of it. Alex's phone buzzed with a text from Mike. Call me ASAP. Something's wrong with Sophie. His heart nearly stopped. I have to go. Sophie, go, Olivia urged. We'll handle this. Alex was already moving toward the door when Olivia called after him. Parker, take my car. It's faster. He caught the keys she tossed, their eyes meeting in a moment of perfect understanding before he ran for the elevator. The drive to his apartment was a blur of red lights and pounding heart. When he burst through the door, he found Mike in the living room, a pale-faced Sophie curled against his side on the couch. What happened? Alex demanded, dropping to his knees beside them. Her ears started hurting really bad about an hour ago, Mike explained. She was crying, said it felt like someone was stabbing them. I gave her the pain medicine from the doctor, but it didn't help much. Sophie looked up at him with tear-stained cheeks. Daddy, it hurts so much. And I can't hear anything from my right ear now, nothing. Alex felt his medical training kick in even as his father's heart ached. He gently examined her ears, noting the increased inflammation. When did the right ear stop working completely, Sweet Pea? After dinner, she whispered. It just went quiet all at once. This was bad, very bad. The accelerated progression suggested her condition was worsening faster than anticipated. They might not have until Monday. I'm going to call Dr. Morrison, he told her calmly, not letting his panic show. We might need to go to the hospital tonight. Will they do the surgery now? Sophie asked, her voice small. Maybe, but even if they don't, they can give you better medicine for the pain. As he stepped away to make the call, his phone buzzed with an incoming call from an unknown number. He answered, expecting it to be the hospital. Instead, Nathan Chen's voice filled his ear. Hello, Dr. Parker? Or is it just Mr. Parker now? I never know how to address physicians who voluntarily leave the profession. Alex's grip tightened on the phone. What do you want, Chen? Just a friendly call, doctor to businessman. I wanted to express my concern about your daughter's condition. Otosclerosis can be so unpredictable, can it? Symptoms accelerating without warning. Ice flooded Alex's veins. What did you do? Me? Nothing at all. Though it is unfortunate about Dr. Morrison's ethics review tomorrow. Such a respected surgeon, and now these allegations. I doubt she'll be performing any surgeries next week. You son of a bitch, she's a child. And you're a pawn who forgot his place, Nathan replied coolly. You should have just been a driver, Parker. Instead, you and Olivia have been quite busy tonight. Did you enjoy your little server room adventure? Alex froze. Nathan knew about their hack, which meant, yes, we monitored the access in real time. Traced it back to the company server room. You really should thank Tom for us. His backdoor was actually a monitored channel we've been using to track internal threats. Convenient, isn't it? What do you want? Alex repeated, struggling to keep his voice level as Sophie watched him with worried eyes. It's simple. Tell Olivia to resign, effective immediately. No board meeting, no evidence presentation, no fight. She walks away quietly, forfeits her controlling shares, and in return, I ensure your daughter gets the surgery she needs with the specialist of your choice. I have connections at Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, anywhere you prefer. And if she refuses? Then I'm afraid Metropolitan will be conducting a very thorough review of Dr. Morrison's practices. These things can take weeks, sometimes months. I wonder how much hearing your daughter will have left by then. The threat hung in the air between them, all the more terrifying for its calm delivery. You have until noon tomorrow to convince Olivia. I'll be waiting for her resignation letter. Nathan paused. Oh, and Parker? I'd keep this conversation between us if I were you. Olivia has a tendency to make rash decisions when emotional. The line went dead, leaving Alex staring at his phone in silent fury and desperation. Daddy? Sophie's voice pulled him back. Who was that? Just work stuff, sweet pea. He forced a smile. Let me call Dr. Morrison now. Lisa answered on the second ring. Alex, I was about to call you. Have you seen the email? What email? The ethics committee. Someone's filed a complaint against me, claiming I've been taking payments to prioritize surgeries. It's complete nonsense, but they've scheduled an emergency review for tomorrow morning. It's Nathan, Alex confirmed. He just called me. He knows everything, Lisa, about the server access, about us investigating him. He's using Sophie's surgery as leverage. Lisa was silent for a moment. Sophie's condition has worsened, hasn't it? Yes, complete hearing loss in the right ear now, severe pain in both. Bring her to the ER, now, I'll meet you there. If her progression has accelerated this much, we can't wait until Monday. But the ethics review hasn't happened yet. I can still treat patients until the committee makes a decision, and I'm going to make damn sure I see Sophie before that happens. Alex ended the call, his mind racing. If he took Sophie to the hospital now, they might be able to perform the surgery before Nathan's plan fully activated. But that would mean abandoning Olivia when she needed his help most. His phone buzzed again. Olivia this time. Parker, where are you? Tom betrayed us. Nathan knew about the server access. I know, Alex interrupted. He just called me. Sophie's condition has worsened dramatically. I'm taking her to the hospital now. Oh, God. Olivia's voice softened instantly. How bad? Complete hearing loss in one ear. Accelerating inflammation. Lisa thinks we can't wait until Monday. Go. Take care of her. That's all that matters right now. Alex hesitated, torn between responsibilities. Olivia, Nathan made me an offer. Your resignation in exchange for guaranteeing Sophie's surgery with any specialist I choose. The line went silent for a long moment. Are you considering it? Olivia finally asked, her voice carefully neutral. I don't know what to do, Alex admitted, the words painful to speak. She's my daughter. I understand. No judgment, no anger, just quiet acceptance. Do what you need to do for Sophie. I'll handle Nathan. What will you do? Something I should have done a long time ago. Before he could ask what she meant, she continued, Take care of your daughter, Alex, and I'm sorry for all of this. The call ended, leaving Alex with the distinct feeling that Olivia was planning something drastic. Sophie watched him from the couch, her eyes trusting despite the pain etched across her small features. Next to her, Mike waited silently, his expression making it clear he'd heard enough to understand the gravity of the situation. "We're going to the hospital now, Sweet Pea," Alex told Sophie, gathering her emergency overnight bag. "Dr. Morrison is going to meet us there." "Is she going to fix my ears tonight?" Sophie asked hopefully. "She's going to try." Alex lifted her gently, her small body curling trustingly against his chest. As they headed for the door, Mike stopped him with a hand on his shoulder. "What about Olivia? Whatever she's planning sounds dangerous." "I can't be in two places at once, Mike. Sophie has to come first." "I know that, but there might be another way." Mike pulled out his phone. "My buddy works security at Reed Technologies. Night shift. Let me make a call." As Mike dialed, Alex carried Sophie to the car, settling her in the back seat with her favorite stuffed rabbit. His mind was a battlefield of competing priorities and impossible choices. Just like that night in the ER with Sarah, he was being forced to choose who to save. Metropolitan Hospital's emergency room was surprisingly quiet for a Thursday night. The fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows across Sophie's pale face as Alex carried her through the sliding doors. Her small body felt unnaturally warm against his chest, her breathing shallow from the pain medication Mike had given her before they left. "Dr. Morrison called ahead," the triage nurse said as soon as she saw them. "We have a room ready." Alex nodded gratefully, following her through the maze of corridors he once knew by heart. Every corner held memories, some good, some unbearable, of his time as a physician here. The same antiseptic smell, the same hushed voices, the same underlying current of controlled urgency. Sophie's room was private, equipped with pediatric monitoring equipment and cheerful animal prints on the walls that couldn't quite mask the clinical reality. As Alex settled her onto the bed, she looked smaller than ever, fragile in a way that squeezed his heart. "Daddy," she whispered, "I'm scared." "I know, Sweet Pea." He brushed the hair from her forehead. "But Dr. Morrison is the best, and she's going to take good care of you." "What if I never hear again?" Her voice trembled. "What if the surgery doesn't work?" Alex took her hand, the same hand that had reached for his when she took her first steps, the same hand that had slipped into his at Sarah's funeral. "Then we'll learn sign language together. We'll find new ways to communicate. But you won't be alone, Sophie. Not ever." She nodded, blinking back tears. "Promise?" "I promise." He kissed her forehead. "Try to rest now. I need to make a call, but I'll be right outside the door where you can see me." In the hallway, Alex leaned against the wall, suddenly exhausted. The weight of the past 5 days, Olivia, Nathan, the corporate espionage, Sophie's accelerating condition, pressed down on him like a physical force. He pulled out his phone to call Mike for an update. "Any word from your security friend at Reed?" he asked as soon as Mike answered. "Yeah, and it's not good. Dave says Olivia's still in the building, but she's locked herself in her office. Won't let anyone in, not even Jessica." "What is she planning?" "Don't know, but Dave overheard her on a call with someone named Wilson, said something about ending this tonight and acceptable terms." Alex's stomach dropped. Wilson, James Wilson, CEO of Apex Technologies. Olivia was negotiating directly with the enemy. "Alex," Mike's voice grew serious, "whatever she's doing, it sounds like she's sacrificing herself to fix this. For you and Sophie." Before Alex could respond, Lisa appeared at the end of the hallway, still in surgical scrubs from an earlier procedure, her face grim with determination. "I have to go," he told Mike. "Keep me posted if you hear anything else." Lisa approached, her stride purposeful. "We need to talk. Now." She led him to a small consultation room and closed the door. The ethics committee moved up their meeting. 8 a.m. tomorrow. Nathan's doing, obviously. "Can you fight it?" "I can try, but that's not our biggest concern right now." She pulled up Sophie's latest scans on a tablet. "The inflammation is accelerating faster than I've ever seen with otosclerosis. If we don't operate within the next 12 hours, she'll lose significant hearing in her left ear too." "Then do it. Tonight." Lisa shook her head. "No, it's not that simple. I need board approval for emergency surgery, especially given the pending ethics review. And guess who sits on the approval committee?" "Let me guess, one of Nathan's investors." "Two of them, actually, Dr. Harold Winters and Elizabeth Shepard. Both have financial ties to Apex Technologies." Alex slammed his fist against the wall, startling them both. He's got us cornered. Not entirely. Lisa leaned closer. There's a loophole. If we can document a dramatic deterioration that constitutes a medical emergency, I can invoke the Emergency Medical Treatment in Labor Act. Federal law trumps hospital politics. Hope flared briefly. How do we do that? We need another set of scans in an hour. If they show continued deterioration, I can make the case. Lisa's expression was a battlefield of determination and worry. But Alex, even if I get approval, there's another problem. Nathan has people watching the OR schedule. If he sees Sophie's name, he'll interfere somehow. Exactly. They sat in silence, the beeping of distant monitors the only sound. Then Lisa straightened, a decision made. We do it under a pseudonym. Register her as Sarah Johnson, emergency case. I'll use OR3, it's being renovated, but the equipment still works. Skeleton crew, just people I trust completely. Isn't that risky for your career? Yes, but some things matter more than careers. She squeezed his shoulder. Get some rest. I'll arrange the second scan and come find you when we're ready. As Lisa left, Alex's phone rang. Olivia. How's Sophie? She asked immediately, her voice strained. Not good. Lisa thinks she needs surgery tonight, but Nathan's people on the hospital board are blocking it. I'm so sorry, Alex. The genuine anguish in her voice was unmistakable. This is all my fault. No, it's Nathan's fault, not yours. Listen to me, Olivia said urgently. I've been negotiating with Wilson. Apex wants Project Aurora, but they don't actually want the rest of Reed Technologies. That was Nathan's vendetta, not corporate strategy. What are you saying? I'm saying I can fix this. For Sophie. I just need you to trust me for a few more hours. Olivia, what are you planning? What I should have done from the beginning. Deal with this like a CEO, not a wounded foster kid with trust issues. She paused. I have to go. Take care of Sophie. I'll call you when it's done. The line went dead before he could respond. Alex returned to Sophie's room, finding her finally asleep, the pain medication providing temporary relief. He settled into the chair beside her son, holding her small hand in his. Whatever Olivia was planning, whatever was happening at Reed Technologies, right now this was where he needed to be. An hour later, Lisa returned with a technician for the second scan. The results confirmed their fears. The inflammation had worsened, now threatening the left ear's functionality as well. It's enough, Lisa said, reviewing the images. I'm invoking M. Taylor. We operate tonight. The next few hours passed in a blur of preparations. Sophie was registered under the pseudonym, prepped for surgery, and moved to the rarely used OR3. By midnight, a small team of Lisa's most trusted colleagues had assembled. An anesthesiologist, 2 surgical nurses, and a surgical resident Lisa had personally mentored. We've got 45 minutes before Winters does his midnight rounds, Lisa told Alex as Sophie was being anesthetized. If he doesn't see anything unusual, we should be clear. Alex nodded, his throat tight with emotion. Thank you for doing this. Thank me when it's over. She squeezed his arm. The waiting room on the 3rd floor is empty this time of night. It'll give you some privacy. As the OR doors closed behind Lisa, Alex felt the full weight of helplessness descend. Now came the hardest part, the waiting. The 3rd floor waiting room was dimly lit and silent. Alex paced, unable to sit still, memories of another night in this hospital washing over him. Sarah had been brought in through these same doors, her car crushed by a drunk driver. He'd been on duty, the senior attending and physician, when 2 critical traumas arrived simultaneously. Following protocol, he'd triaged based on survival probability, not knowing one of the patients was his wife. His phone buzzed, jolting him from the painful memory. A text from Mike. Something big happening at Reed. Security on high alert. Executives arriving. Before he could respond, the phone rang. Jessica Morgan. Where are you? She demanded without preamble. At the hospital. Sophie's in surgery. They're letting Morrison operate? It's complicated. What's happening at Reed? Jessica lowered her voice. Olivia called an emergency board meeting. Midnight. Everyone's here. Board members, executives, even James Wilson from Apex. Wilson, what the hell is she doing? I don't know. She locked herself in her office all evening, wouldn't talk to anyone. Then suddenly calls this meeting and invites our biggest competitor. Jessica sounded genuinely worried. Alex, she has all the evidence we gathered about Nathan, but she's also prepared resignation papers. I think she's planning to sacrifice herself for some kind of deal. Alex's grip tightened on the phone. Put her on. I can't. The meeting's starting. She specifically asked me to call you, though. Said to tell you the princess is saving herself, but the knight's job isn't finished. The reference to their earlier conversation hit him like a physical blow. Tell her. Tell her to wait. I may have a way to help. How? You're at the hospital. Just tell her. Alex ended the call, mind racing. He dialed Mike next. I need a favor, a big one. Name it. Sophie's in surgery. I need to get to Reed Technologies, but I can't leave the hospital. Say no more. I'll be there in 15 minutes. I'll stay with Sophie. You go do what you need to do. Thank you, Alex said, his voice rough with emotion. That's what family does, Doc. While waiting for Mike, Alex called Lisa's resident, Dr. Patel, whom he'd known during his time at the hospital. Patel, it's Alex Parker. I need an update on the surgery. Dr. Parker, we've just finished the right ear reconstruction. Dr. Morrison is working on the left now. Everything's proceeding as expected. Estimated completion time? Another hour, hour and a half. Dr. Morrison is being extremely thorough. That's good. Alex hesitated. Patel, I need to step out for a bit. An emergency. My friend Mike Rodriguez is coming to wait for Sophie. Can you keep him updated? Of course, but... Patel lowered his voice. You should know Dr. Winters has been asking questions. Someone tipped him off about an unscheduled surgery. Alex's blood ran cold. How much time do we have? Dr. Morrison convinced him it was a training exercise with the mannequin, but he seemed suspicious. Said he'd be back to observe. Tell Lisa to work fast, and thank you. Mike arrived as promised, military punctuality ingrained even in civilian life. Go, he said simply. I've got this. Dave's waiting for you at Reed with a security badge. Alex gripped his friend's shoulder. If anything happens, I'll call. Now move. The drive to Reed Technologies took 15 minutes. 15 minutes of alternating hope and dread, of wondering what Olivia was planning and whether he could still help. The midnight streets were nearly empty, allowing him to push Olivia's Tesla faster than was strictly legal. Dave, Mike's security friend, was waiting at the employee entrance as promised. 14th floor conference room. The meeting started 20 minutes ago. What's the situation? Tense. Nathan Chen arrived with 2 lawyers. James Wilson from Apex brought his general counsel. The board members looked nervous. Alex took the security badge Dave offered. Can you get me in there without being announced? Service entrance to the conference room, used by catering staff. Dave handed him a folded white jacket. Put this on, you'll look like you're delivering coffee. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Whatever's happening in there, it's big. Corporate security is on high alert. The service corridor was dimly lit and quiet. Alex moved quickly, the borrowed catering jacket providing minimal but sufficient cover. Through the service door, he could hear raised voices from the conference room. Completely unprecedented. Nathan's voice angry and defensive. A midnight board meeting without proper notice. The bylaws allow for emergency sessions when the company's future is at stake, Olivia responded coolly. And given what I'm about to share, I think you'll agree this qualifies. Alex eased the door open just enough to see inside. The conference room was filled with people, board members at the long table, executives and legal counsel along the walls. Nathan stood near the head of the table, face flushed with anger. Opposite him, Olivia remained seated, perfectly composed in a tailored black suit, her expression revealing nothing. Before we proceed, she continued, I want to thank Mr. Wilson for joining us tonight. His presence will become clear shortly. Wilson, a distinguished man in his 60s, nodded tersely. I'm curious why Reed's CEO called me at 11 p.m., Ms. Reed. This better be worth interrupting my evening. Oh, it will be. Olivia tapped a tablet and the wall screen behind her illuminated with documents. These are communications between Nathan Chen, our CFO, and James Wilson, CEO of Apex Technologies. They detail the systematic theft of Reed's proprietary technology, specifically Project Aurora, our medical diagnostic AI platform. Nathan's face drained of color. This is absurd. Where did you get those? From your secure server, Nathan. The same one where you stored Sophie Parker's medical records. A murmur ran through the room. Jessica, standing near the back, caught Alex's eye through the partially open door. Her slight nod acknowledged his presence without drawing attention. "This is illegal," Nathan sputtered. "Accessing private servers is exactly what you've been doing for months," Olivia cut in smoothly. "Transferring our technology to Apex piece by piece. But that's not even the worst of it." She changed the display to show emails between Nathan and hospital board members. These communications show Mr. Chen actively interfering with a child's medical care to leverage her father, who happens to work for me, into silence, a 6-year-old girl, gentlemen. That's how far Mr. Chen was willing to go. The room fell silent. Even Wilson looked disturbed. "This is all fabricated," Nathan said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Is it?" Olivia turned to Wilson. "Mr. Wilson, did you authorize Nathan to sabotage a child's surgery as part of your acquisition strategy?" Wilson's expression hardened. "Absolutely not. Apex is interested in technology, not corporate thuggery. If these allegations are true—" "They are," Olivia assured him. "And there's more. Nathan wasn't just planning to sell you Project Aurora. He was planning to dismantle Reed Technologies entirely, against the interests of our shareholders, our employees, and our mission." She displayed the board presentation Alex and Lisa had seen at the restaurant. The board members leaned forward, expressions ranging from shock to outrage as they saw the detailed plans for breaking up the company they'd invested in. Nathan looked desperately around the room, finding no allies. "This is a witch hunt. Olivia is trying to distract from her own failings as CEO." "Actually," Wilson interrupted, "these documents suggest you've been misrepresenting Reed's performance to create the impression of leadership failures." He turned to the board. "Gentlemen, Apex has always been interested in a potential partnership with Reed Technologies, specifically around Project Aurora. But we were led to believe by Mr. Chen that Ms. Reed was resistant to any collaboration." "That's a lie," Nathan protested. "She refused to even discuss." "I never received any partnership proposals," Olivia said quietly. "Only acquisition offers for the entire company at below market value." This was the moment. Alex pushed the door open fully and stepped into the room. All eyes turned to him. "Mr. Parker," Olivia acknowledged, her surprise visible only in the slight widening of her eyes. "I wasn't expecting you." "Sorry to interrupt, but I thought the board should hear from someone else affected by Mr. Chen's actions." Nathan's face contorted with rage. "You have no right to be here." "Actually," Jessica interjected smoothly, "as a material witness to corporate espionage and potential criminal activity, Mr. Parker has every right to address this board." Alex moved to stand beside Olivia. "My daughter Sophie is in surgery right now at Metropolitan Hospital. Surgery that Mr. Chen tried to prevent by filing false ethics complaints against her surgeon. A surgery that might have been unnecessary if the diagnostic capability of Project Aurora had been available to hospitals like Metropolitan instead of being locked away for profit." He turned to face Nathan directly. "You offered me a deal earlier tonight. Sophie's surgery in exchange for Olivia's resignation. You were willing to use a 6-year-old child as leverage in a corporate takeover. I want the board to understand exactly who they've been trusting with their company." The silence that followed was deafening. Nathan looked from face to face, finding no sympathy. "This is preposterous," he finally said, but the fight had gone out of his voice. "You have no proof of any such conversation." Alex pulled out his phone. "Actually, I do. I recorded our call." It was a bluff. He hadn't recorded anything, but Nathan's face told him it had landed. The CFO sank into a chair, defeated. "I think we've heard enough," said an older board member, breaking the silence. "I move for the immediate termination of Nathan Chen's employment with Reed Technologies, pending criminal investigation." "Seconded," said another board member promptly. "All in favor?" The vote was unanimous. As security escorted a shell-shocked Nathan from the room, Wilson approached Olivia and Alex. "Ms. Reed, I'd like to propose a genuine partnership between Apex and Reed, specifically around Project Aurora. No takeovers, no dismantling. A collaborative approach that maintains Reed's independence while leveraging Apex's distribution capabilities." "I'm listening," Olivia said cautiously. "We establish a joint venture. Aurora remains Reed intellectual property, but we create a separate entity to handle hospital distribution, priority access for public institutions like Metropolitan. Alex watched Olivia consider the offer, her expression giving nothing away. This was the CEO in action, not the vulnerable woman he'd glimpsed in rare moments, but the strategic leader who'd built a company from nothing. "I'll need assurances about pricing structures for public hospitals," she said finally, "and complete transparency about implementation." "Of course," Wilson nodded. "We can have our teams draft terms tomorrow." "And one more thing," Olivia added. "Metropolitan Hospital gets the first full implementation, at cost." Wilson smiled slightly. "Driven bargain." "Agreed." As the meeting adjourned, board members filed out, many stopping to shake Olivia's hand or murmur apologies for doubting her leadership. Jessica coordinated with Wilson's legal team to begin drafting partnership documents. Within minutes, only Olivia and Alex remained in the conference room. "You should be at the hospital," she said quietly. "With Sophie. Mike's there, and I needed to be here." Alex studied her face, noting the exhaustion beneath her composed exterior. "You were going to resign, weren't you? That was your plan." "Plan B," she admitted. "If the evidence wasn't enough to convince the board, I was prepared to make a deal with Wilson. My resignation in exchange for leaving Reed intact and ensuring Sophie's surgery. You'd have given up everything you built." "Some things matter more than companies, Alex." Her gaze met his directly. "Some people matter more." The moment stretched between them, filled with unspoken possibilities. Alex's phone rang. "Mike, Sophie's out of surgery," he reported without preamble. "Lisa says it went perfectly. Both ears fully reconstructed." Relief crashed over Alex like a physical wave. "She's okay?" "Better than okay, already waking up and asking for you. Tell her I'm on my way." Alex ended the call, turning to Olivia. Sophie's surgery was successful. Both ears. Olivia's composed facade cracked, genuine joy breaking through. "That's wonderful, Alex. You should go to her." "Come with me." The invitation surprised them both. "I don't want to intrude on a family moment," she said hesitantly. "You're part of this now, for better or worse." He held out his hand. "Besides, she's been asking about the princess her dad's been helping." A smile touched Olivia's lips. "I'm hardly a princess." Try telling that to a 6-year-old with a vivid imagination. Sophie was awake when they arrived at the recovery room, her head wrapped in bandages but her eyes bright with recognition. Mike sat beside her, reading from her favorite book. "Daddy," she called as Alex entered, her voice slightly too loud, common after ear surgery. "Hey, sweet pea." He kissed her forehead gently. "How are you feeling?" "My head sounds funny, like I'm underwater, but Dr. Lisa says that's normal." Her gaze shifted to Olivia, standing hesitantly in the doorway. "Are you the princess?" Olivia looked startled. "I'm Olivia, your dad's friend." "Daddy said you needed help because bad people wanted to take your magic power." "Did he now?" Olivia smiled, moving closer to the bed. "Well, your dad was very brave. He helped me save the magic power so it can help other children like you." Sophie nodded solemnly. "That's what knights do. They help people." She yawned suddenly, the medications making her drowsy. "Are you going to stay?" The question hung in the air, layered with meaning beyond a child's simple inquiry. "For a while," Olivia answered softly. "Good." Sophie's eyes drifted closed. "Daddy needs more friends." Mike stood, stretching discreetly. "I should head out. Got an early shift tomorrow." He touched Alex's shoulder. "Call if you need anything." After Mike left, Alex and Olivia sat on either side of Sophie's bed, watching her sleep. The rhythmic beeping of monitors and the soft hum of hospital equipment created a cocoon of white noise around them. "She's remarkable," Olivia said finally. "So perceptive." "Gets that from her mother," Alex replied. "Sarah could always see right through people." "Tell me about her, Sarah." The request surprised him. Few people asked about Sarah anymore, as if her memory was too painful to acknowledge. "She was a pediatric nurse. That's how we met. My first year as an attending physician. She had this way with children. They trusted her immediately." Alex smiled at the memory. "She loved music, terrible sci-fi movies, and pancakes at midnight. She laughed at all my bad jokes, even when no one else did." "She sounds wonderful." "She was. She would have liked you. Olivia looked doubtful. I'm not exactly the warm, nurturing type. Neither was Sarah at first. She built walls too. Different reasons, same result. Alex studied Olivia across the sleeping form of his daughter. The difference is she learned to let people in. It just took the right person to show her it was safe. And you think you're that person for me? Olivia's tone was light, but her eyes were serious. I think we've both seen each other at our worst and most vulnerable in the span of a week. That's more than most people manage in years. Olivia was silent for a long moment. I've never been good at this, Alex. Letting people in, trusting. The foster system teaches you that connections are temporary. People leave. Not always, Alex said softly. Sometimes they stay, doctor. Lisa Morrison entered before Olivia could respond, her surgical cap still on, exhaustion evident in her posture, but satisfaction in her eyes. Surgery was textbook perfect, she reported. Both ears fully reconstructed, inflammatory response already subsiding. We'll know more when she's fully awake, but I'm optimistic about near-complete hearing restoration. Thank you isn't enough, Alex said, his voice thick with emotion. It's a start. Lisa smiled. The ethics committee meeting has been mysteriously canceled, by the way. Something about the complainant withdrawing allegations. Nathan's been fired, Olivia explained, and likely facing criminal charges. He won't be interfering with anyone's medical care anymore. Good. Lisa checked Sophie's vitals, making notes on her chart. She'll need to stay for observation for 48 hours, then home rest for 2 weeks. No school, limited activity. I'll take time off, Alex said immediately. Actually, Olivia interjected, I have a proposal. She turned to Lisa. Reed Technologies is partnering with Apex to distribute our medical diagnostic AI to hospitals. Metropolitan will be our first implementation site. We'd like you to consult on the pediatric applications. Lisa raised an eyebrow. Consulting requires time. My surgical schedule is already full. We'd compensate the hospital for protected research time, 4 hours per week. Make it 6 and include a fellowship position for pediatric diagnostic implementation. Done. Olivia extended her hand, which Lisa shook firmly. And as for you, Olivia continued, turning to Alex, Reed Technologies could use someone with medical expertise to liaise between our development team and hospital implementation sites. The position would have flexible hours, work from home options when needed, and a salary significantly better than driving or bartending. Alex stared at her. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you an opportunity to use both your medical knowledge and your newly discovered corporate detective skills. Plus, you'd be helping make Project Aurora accessible to patients who need it. She smiled slightly. Consider it paying forward what you did for me this week. Before Alex could respond, Sophie stirred, her eyes fluttering open. Daddy? Her voice was clearer now, less strained. I can hear better already. Alex took her hand. That's great, sweet pea. Dr. Lisa did an amazing job. Sophie turned to Olivia. Are you still here? I am. But I drew you a picture before my surgery. Mike has it. She yawned again. It's all of us together. All of us? Olivia asked gently. You, me, Daddy, and Mike. Our family. The simplicity of a child's perspective. Rearranging the adult world into what made sense to her. Alex watched emotions flicker across Olivia's face. Surprise, confusion, and something softer he couldn't quite name. I look forward to seeing it, Olivia said finally. As Sophie drifted back to sleep, Lisa excused herself to check on other patients. The room grew quiet again, the first light of dawn beginning to filter through the window blinds. She's going to be okay, Olivia said softly. Sophie. Yes. Alex released a breath he felt like he'd been holding for days. She is. And you, will you be okay? The question caught him off guard. I think so. For the first time in a long time, I think I might be. Good. Olivia stood, smoothing her suit with practiced precision. I should go. The board will want a full briefing, and there's the partnership with Apex to structure. Olivia, Alex rose as well, about the job offer. Take some time. Think about it. Sophie needs you now. She smiled, a genuine smile that transformed her face. We'll talk when you're ready. And if I'm ready now? The question hung between them, weighted with meaning beyond professional opportunities. Then we'll talk now, she said simply. I want the job. But more than that, I want... Alex hesitated, searching for words. I want to see where this goes. You and me, whatever this is between us. It's complicated, Olivia warned. I'm complicated. I'm a former emergency physician raising a daughter alone after losing my wife in a trauma I failed to prevent. Complicated is my default setting. That earned a small laugh. Fair point. So we try, one day at a time? Olivia considered this, her analytical mind visibly working through possibilities and risks. Then, in a gesture that seemed to surprise even her, she reached out and took his hand. One day at a time, she agreed. 3 months later, Alex stood in front of a classroom at Metropolitan's Teaching Center, explaining the diagnostic capabilities of Project Aurora to a group of medical residents. The AI system had been fully implemented at Metropolitan for 6 weeks, already showing promising results in early detection of conditions previously difficult to diagnose in early stages. His new role at Reed Technologies had proven to be the perfect blend of his medical background and newly discovered business acumen. Working with hospital implementation teams, he helped Boyne bridge the gap between technology and practical medical applications. The flexible hours allowed him to be there for Sophie's recovery and return to school, now with fully restored hearing. The system doesn't replace clinical judgment, he emphasized to the residents. It enhances it. Think of it as having a consultant who's read every medical journal ever published and can apply that knowledge to pattern recognition in patient data. As the session ended, Lisa approached from the back of the room. Nice presentation. The residents are impressed, both by the technology and by you. Just doing my job. Speaking of jobs, Lisa said casually, the hospital board is reviving the trauma director position. They asked me to gauge your interest. Alex stared at her. You're kidding. I never kid about hospital politics. Lisa smiled. They're prepared to be flexible about hours, given your role with Reed, but they want you back, Alex. We all do. I don't know, Lisa. That part of my life is still part of you, whether you acknowledge it or not. Just think about it. She checked her watch. Don't you have a recital to get to? Sophie's first violin recital since her surgery. After fully recovering her hearing, she had thrown herself into music with passionate intensity, making remarkable progress in just a few months. Thanks for the reminder. And Lisa, I'll think about it. The community center auditorium was crowded with parents and relatives when Alex arrived. He spotted Mike saving a seat in the front row, and beside him, a surprise, Olivia. Didn't think you'd make it, Alex said as he joined them. Board meeting? Rescheduled, Olivia replied. Some things are more important. The casual statement reflected the change in her over the past months. The walls hadn't come down entirely. Decades of self-protection didn't disappear overnight. But there were more windows now, more moments of vulnerability and genuine connection. Their relationship had developed slowly, deliberately. Weekly dinners had become twice weekly, then more. Sophie had appointed herself Olivia's guide to fun things normal people do, insisting on movie nights, park visits, and ice cream adventures that pulled the CEO increasingly out of her corporate shell. For his part, Alex had found himself rediscovering parts of himself he thought had died with Sarah. His sense of humor, his capacity for joy, his ability to look toward a future rather than just surviving the present. The lights dimmed as Sophie's beginner violin class took the stage. 10 children aged 6 to 8, all in their best clothes, clutching their instruments with varying degrees of confidence. Sophie spotted them immediately, waving enthusiastically before remembering her performance decorum. She looks so happy, Olivia whispered. She is, Alex agreed. We all are. The instructor raised her baton, and the children began to play. The piece was simple, the execution imperfect, but the joy was palpable. Sophie played with fierce concentration, hearing every note with restored clarity, her small face alight with the pure pleasure of creating music. Halfway through the piece, Alex felt Olivia's hand slip into his, a small gesture but significant for someone who had spent a lifetime avoiding connection. He squeezed gently, a silent acknowledgement of how far they'd both come in such a short time. As the final notes faded and applause filled the auditorium, Sophie's eyes found them again. Her father, his friend Mike, and Olivia. Her family, as she had drawn it in her hospital picture, now framed and hanging in their living room. Later, as they celebrated with ice cream, Sophie's choice, Alex watched Olivia helping his daughter count the sprinkles on her sundae, both of them laughing at the impossible task. Mike caught his eye across the table, giving him a knowing nod of approval. "Penny for your thoughts, Doc," Mike said as the girls continued their sprinkle census. "Just thinking about how much can change in 6 months." "Good changes?" Alex considered the question, thinking of Sophie's restored hearing, his new career path combining medicine and technology, the possibility of returning to trauma medicine part-time, and the woman who had entered their lives through a chance encounter in a bar. "The best," he said simply. That night, after Sophie was asleep, Alex and Olivia sat on his apartment balcony, looking out at the city lights. The same city where half a year ago he had driven a drunk CEO home without asking questions, setting in motion events neither could have predicted. "Lisa offered me the trauma director position at Metropolitans today," he told her. "Are you going to take it?" "I'm considering it, part-time alongside my work with Reed." Olivia nodded thoughtfully. "You miss it, medicine." "Parts of it, the ability to help people directly, make immediate difference." "You should do it then." She turned to face him fully. "You're a healer, Alex. It's who you are even when you're not practicing medicine." "What do you mean?" "You healed Sophie's ears. You healed my company. And if I'm being honest," she hesitated, vulnerability still not coming easily, "you've started healing something in me too. Something I thought was permanently broken." The admission hung in the night air between them, more intimate than any physical gesture. "We heal each other," Alex said finally. "That's how it works," Olivia smiled, the city lights reflecting in her eyes. "Is that your professional medical opinion, DeParker?" "Absolutely, backed by extensive research." She laughed softly, leaning against him as they watched the city below. Two people who had found each other at the worst moments of their lives and somehow built something new from the broken pieces. "Sophie asked me something interesting today," Olivia said after a comfortable silence. "Should I be worried?" "She asked if princesses can save knights too, or if it's always the other way around." Alex smiled, remembering their conversation months ago. "What did you tell her?" "I told her the best stories are the ones where they save each other." In the apartment behind them, Sophie slept peacefully, her hearing fully restored. In the city below, Metropolitan Hospital implemented the diagnostic system that would help countless patients. And in the quiet space between them, something continued to grow. Not a fairy tale of knights and princesses, but something real and honest and hard-won. A second chance neither had been looking for, found on a rainy night when a driver simply did the right thing and a CEO asked to be taken home without questions. Sometimes the best journeys begin with the simplest decisions, and sometimes the roads we never plan to travel lead us exactly where we need to be.